Hello, I just wanted to pop a little video together to talk about my Living Love and Kindness group experiment that I'm starting at the beginning of April. So it is an invitation, I guess, to play a game with me, to come and experiment with me. I'm going to leave all the details below this video. So, what is this all about? Living Love and Kindness group experiment. The idea came to me back in November last year. I woke up one morning and it just popped into my mind that I would love to run a group where the focus was really on checking in at some point every day when it occurred with something along the lines of this question: what would be loving and kind right now? And there are variations to that question. So it could be, what would love do? Or if you think about somebody who you know unconditionally loves you, what would they say to do right now? Or it could be somebody that you imagine as being um, a hugely loving person, and imagining what would they do right now. And the idea then is to so that gives us a pause. Like what would love do right now? What would be loving and kind now in this moment? Because for me, whenever anyone asks me what would you love, or what do you desire, or what are your dreams, what are your hopes, what are your aspirations, any questions like that, I've always had this like just almost like shutters coming down, and there being a kind of, well, the automatic response being I don't know. It's like a shutdown, um, and just a closing off of even looking there. And I know so many of my clients have that same like issue of just finding it really hard because they've never done it, they've never considered that it's a possibility to ask what you would like because they've always been so busy doing what other people would like. So with this invitation, it's purely right in this moment here. It's not anything about the future. It's nothing about what you might like to do at some other point. It is purely what would be loved right now in this moment. And it can be something really, really, really tiny. So it could be, if I were to do it for myself right now, what would I love? What would be kind right now? And I notice that I'm cold. So what would be loving and kind is to put my cardigan on. So I'm talking simple, tiny little things. Okay. And then, so the first step, asking the question, what would be loving, kind, or your version of that? The next thing is actually following it, because more often than not, we do actually know what we want, but we've got a lot of conditioned thinking that will say it's not appropriate or we can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. So a classic one here is, and it's something I was playing with a lot last year because I just felt so tired all the time. And when I asked that question, the answer constantly was, I just want to go to sleep. I just want to rest. And my mind would immediately say, well, you can't, because you've got to cook dinner, or you've got to write an email, or you've got to sit here and do some work, or you've got to do, you've got things that are things that need to be done. You've got to go and do the shopping. There'd be all manner of things that would mean you can't go and just rest. And after a while, I realized what was happening, and I went and rested. I went and had a lie down. So it can be a real challenge when you check in with what would I love. It can be a real challenge to then do that thing and kind of navigate all of the reasons why you shouldn't do it. And this is where this experiment, this invitation comes in, is to get more familiar with what the objections are to the things that you really, really desire in the moment, and navigate them. And so there's a part of this that's about learning to come down into the heart, out of the head, because most of us operate from our minds. Most of us operate from these rules and beliefs and ideas that we've been given, if you like, as we've been treading on this earth. And so a large part of this experiment is to start to learn to live from the heart instead. Oh, my internet's gone dodgy. So rather than listening to and following what the mind is telling us we have to do, just for a moment every day, coming back to what do I want to do right now? What would I love to do? What would be kind to do right now? And doing it. So it's kind of a practice. We're kind of practicing in small little tiny things, going away from what the mind is telling us and coming back to what our hearts are telling us, what we desire, what we know. And then the third part, which is the really cool part, is to notice and appreciate then, as a consequence of following what you know would be loving and kind in this moment, as a consequence of that, then what happens? So what I found when I followed that constant, I'm tired, I want to rest, I need to just lie down, I need to have a sleep. When I went with that and I went and had a lie down, I went and had a sleep, or I sat and looked out of the window and had a rest, the consequence of that was that I may have even only done that for 10 minutes. Often I might have a real power nap, like a 10-minute nap, and I would feel refreshed. And then I would notice that I would actually get all the things done that my mind had said, well, you can't do that because you won't get X, Y, and Z done. Those things got done, and they got done much more easily, if you like. The internet's gone weird again. Sorry about this. So the trick is to not only listen for a moment into what would be loving and kind right now, but it's to follow that thing and notice and appreciate everything that happens as a consequence of that. So it can be really small things. It can just be, well, it seems small to the mind, but it can be that you're just more present with your family, that there's a sense of peace within, or there's a feeling of ease, or there's just a sense of contentment. And the mind says jest with all these things, but those things are everything, and they start to transform our experience in the world, of the world. We start to, when we are feeling rested, when we are feeling more calm, the things that we do in the world, the actions we take, the behaviors that flow effortlessly out of us are very different from those when we are stressed and we are tired, when we're running ourselves ragged. We behave differently, and it's catching that's the thing that makes the difference. And so this experiment is that it's a space for us all, me included, to start to move from living from the mind to living from the heart. And what it consists of is a WhatsApp group, and that is a one-way WhatsApp group. And this was the aspect that I ran as the sort of tester back in December. And it's purely a place to keep you accountable, if you like. So every day, because other people will be posting their actions, their little things that they've done when they've answered the question, what would be loving and kind? So that you would post that into the WhatsApp group, what action you've taken. Other people's things will obviously pop up and remind you to do it. So you'll have that reminder. You'll pop into the group if you want to, what it is, what little thing you've done that day, when you've done it. And then you can record also what you notice has happened as a consequence of that. And the idea behind the group is simply that. It's simply to record, to keep you on track, if you like, with answering that question. And then nobody is to respond other than to give a little, you can give it a little heart, or people can respond just by a little symbol, but not in words. So that's the WhatsApp group. And then once a week, we will meet on a Wednesday lunchtime, 12:30 to 1:30. And that will be the opportunity to get to know other people in the group, to really come together and express and learn from one another, and talk through the challenges of actually living this way. So it might be that you find that you can answer the question, what would I love right now, but you're not able to do it. You're not able to follow it through because the conditioning, the ideas, the rules that you've picked up are so strong, and so you're finding that really tricky. And so you come to the group, and we can all support you through that. It might be that you notice things that are changing, and by verbalizing what those things are, it really helps to solidify the changes, to kind of track them, to make them relevant. So that's the purpose of the experiment. And if you would like to join me, I would be absolutely delighted to have you. Like I say, the details I will drop below this video, and if you have any questions, then please do just reach out and ask them. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the group and experimenting with you and living from a space of love rather than a space of fear and lack, which is generally where we live from when we're living up in the mind. So wishing you a beautiful day and sending you lots of love. Bye.